Earth debate live. I'm your host, Nathan Oakley, and if you are new to this channel, or you've not done so already, then be sure to subscribe, hit the bell notification icon, and join button if you'd like to become a Nathan Oakley 1980 channel member and keep up to date with the Flat Earth debate. If you would like to support the channel, there is a super chat that runs alongside each of these shows while they are live, and there's also a Coffee, Patreon, crypto, and thanks button in the info box below the video. Most importantly, if you'd like to join the discussion, simply mute the page you are currently watching, then click the link in the info box below this video, join the panel and express your views on the nature of Earth. If you do join, please don't swear. If you do, you'll be ejected, and if you are, please don't try to rejoin the stream using stock accounts. You'll be warmly welcome back on the next stream. Please also share the show on social media. Sharing the show obviously increases the live audience, but this in turn increases the chances of a more diverse panel, so please share the show on Facebook and X. Now, we are joined by Neil, Sensual Goat, and a whole bunch of people in the Flat Earth Debate Discord server, so welcome one and all.
Morning.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Second time's a charm. We just did a whole live intro. I pressed the live button in YouTube Studio. It went live, gave me the whirly whirl, and then it didn't go live. So that was the second time I've done that introduction. Weird, but there we go. It's completely thrown me. So there we go. What's everyone been up to over the weekend? Anything exciting? Any evidence of Earth curve?
None that haven't been black swanned away.
Oh yeah, we were talking about the Black Swan in the live show that didn't happen for 7 minutes. Black Swan. Yeah, we were talking about people still not getting to grips with it after 5 years. Now we're all caught up, right? That was where we were roughly at.
I mean, there's specific math, official math, and it's bunked with as little as a zoom. So it's pretty nice.
I asked, and I'll ask again, are they still getting to grips with this after 5 years almost of Black Swan information being out there? The anti-flat earthers, that is.
Oh, grips. Grip is like, think about measured flat. It works together with black swans. So obviously they're coming to grips. Whether it's a positive reaction or not is their own choice.
Yeah, well, when you beg the question of a sphere Earth radius 3959 and declare that the observer's height at 1.2 times the square root of it will give you a geometric horizon below surface level, you're already inferring a flat Earth that you need for that calculation. So it ties into the Black Swan based on the fact that, yes, Earth's measured flat to infer that you can get your height above sea level, a parallel line with it, and derive a point below surface level and call it Earth curve. So yes, kind of see where you're coming from, Adam.
I like John's quote, they need the flat earth more than we do. It's true.
Did anybody catch Ballbusters over the weekend?
Yeah.
Yep.
All 6 hours.
6 more hours.
Yeah, it was like a horrendously long night. I was up till about 4 in the morning. In any event, the guy that we were covering, I can appreciate that while the criticism was valid, it kind of upsets me that as that dude has wandered his way into flat Earth and is just meandering his way through what's out there. We know what's out there and how it's garbage. He does not. And having meandered his way through, he's got limited praise from us when he's kind of, as Adam put it, plagiarized some of the arguments that we put across without necessarily fully understanding them. Well, you kind of want to nurture those people who are at least out doing this into having better arguments. But I just felt the way that we approached it was just so harsh. I don't know. Does anybody else agree?
When I first came around, I remember it was couldn't be the second time that I had visited chat, and I remember Wally coming and being like, "Oh, did you see my globe Earth proof?" And it wasn't long after that when Bob, the science guy, would come at me, and Phil, he would give you the crap that he's got through HIF. And one thing uh, that underlied the whole thing was they always wanted me to start debating them. I was new at this, and that's the point, I think, is that they would like uh, newbies. They would like the people who aren't sure, who have questions that don't have answers yet, and aren't okay with the questions that actually don't have answers.
Yeah, I think you're right. What they project out onto us in terms of their fear of debating. Yeah,
But
the new
if
guy. It's just I said this at the time. It's our way of doing things, so it's never going to change. It's just a conflict with me as a YouTuber versus me as a flat earther in what we specifically do as flat earthers, knowing Earth is flat. How we do that with the harshest of critiques, sometimes absolutely necessary, isn't going to grow your audience, and I'm acutely aware of that when we're doing it. By the same token, from a purely empathetic point of view, you go, I wouldn't want to be on the receiving end of that, with such enthusiasm and a vague grasp of some of the arguments. Yes, a lot of Witsit and Ethereum nonsense thrown in, but you just think that person could be set on the right track. They're going to come across us because he's going to be looking at this. We're covering him, so he's going to want to watch it. Someone will share it with him. It's just a shame. I don't know. There's probably nothing I can do about this. It's just how I'm feeling and thinking about it.
can I ask a question?
Yeah.
How does a distance to the horizontal will give you a curvature of a sphere?
It won't. You can derive it mathematically based on Earth curve mathematics. It won't give you a physical geometric sphere edge below surface level that you're measuring to give you that inference. You can't infer things that are below a surface that's level if you're measuring it level to claim that there's something below it that's called Earth curve. That's ludicrous, isn't it, George?
Yeah, absolutely, because the horizon by definition is horizontal. So having a distance to a horizontal will never give you a curvature.
No. But you can infer that how low the point in the distance we call the horizon is derivable from perspective laws could also be inferred to be a geometric point below the surface level, calculable at 1.2 times the square root of the observer's height in feet when deriving it with surface level and that observer's height from sea level, parallel with it. You'd need flat Earth and an eye level parallel with it to claim that there's a geometric point below the surface level that's parallel, derived with a horizon if you raise in altitude. The horizon's formed with the ground is below you, therefore there is a tiny amount of drop or dip, depending on how you want to call it, to the horizon when you raise. That is to say, while the horizon does appear to rise to eye level, as you rise in altitude, it appears to get higher with you as you widen the angle to it. But the ground is literally forming that point in the distance. The optical dissolution point we call the horizon is formed with the ground, and that is below you. Well, with that information, a parallel ground, flat, and an eye level parallel with that can give you the mathematical capabilities to infer Earth curve below the surface level that you've raised up from.
Oh, I see the dingleberry.
Yeah, that would be Dingleberry. Yeah, you're right. It's tangent plane in the Earth curve
Yeah,
length. Yes, Dingleberry Earth, correct.
exactly. Same thing that Thunderfoot draw on his explanation. We draw a level plane with a dingleberry underneath.
Yeah, the level plane's the bit you're using and measuring. The Dingleberry has no relevance, and because it has no relevance, he has to transfer it like the diagram on screen into hell to give a plane of reference in hell some semblance of use with the angle measured on the surface that he's claiming is a single point tangential to a globe that he's not using. Or to be more accurate,
Well,
not
he knew
measuring.
exactly what instruments to use to measure his angles.
Yeah, he used a protractor.
And the level.
And a spirit level, yeah.
And spirit level. And the polyester, a flat surface. Damn it.
Yeah, we measure Earth flat.
Yeah, but despite
That's
all
correct.
that,
We measure the
when
Earth
I
flat.
look out at the horizon at the beach, it does look a bit curvy.
That's lovely. And
unfortunately, that's good enough for some people.
that's good enough, is it? No, the horizon is horizontal. Useful, that fact. Yeah. Doesn't matter what you think it looks like.
Yes, because there are no horizontal planes on a sphere.
Yeah, but we don't necessarily need to decry what you don't have on a sphere. We definitely utilize horizontal, perpendicular, parallel, all of these principles when we're measuring Earth. Utilizing Earth, navigating Earth, flying over Earth, building on Earth. And you can make a globe with those same measurements, you know. You can create a whole religion based on those measurements of a flat Earth.
Oh, yes, you can.
I think that's the biggest knife that there is to offer. You know, yes, we're always going to win with better arguments that example how Earth's measured flat, like pitch data. Superb. It's proper chef's kiss, that one. But in terms of the dagger in the heart for an anti-flat earther, the fact that your globe belief comes from flat Earth measurements, that's heartbreaking.
Well, you need to draw a circle and then back the question and assume that circle now is a sphere. From 2D goes to 3D all of a sudden. Because what they have is a circle of equal altitude for latitude on its largest size, the equator or whatever they call it. And from that circle, they convert it somehow into a sphere. They flip the protractor upside down and they turn it into spherical.
Yeah, like on screen. You measure the angles of a flat Earth, you can project those angle points via conversion, have a sign, onto a glorified protractor around your position. And then through that globe Earth that you've created, you can continue the angles from hell to the celestial sphere, North Pole and South Pole centric in that model, or mathematical inference. I have to get out of the habit of calling it a model, where you have a South Pole centric and North Pole centric, both flat, sandwiched antipodal with a celestial sphere wrapped around it, and a globe Earth inside that represents the protractor that measured both of those antipodal flat planes that create the celestial sphere. So it's two flat Earths, one upside down from the other. It's just a mathematical way
Exactly.
of representing two separate models. Again, I'll have to get into the habit. Two separate ways of mapping the stars with respect to their ground positions above the ground.
And you don't need a hover sign to find latitude.
No,
You also don't need a hover sign to have an elevation angle to the sun, to navigate either in the north or in the south, for that matter.
No,
if you're using the sun.
You need
That's
hover
why
sign to project the points off the flat plane into being a globe wrapped around you, so that you can project the points with the angles through a globe to the celestial sphere. So it's a way of projecting and mapping the points out to a spherical surface. It's the conversion from latitude and longitude as a measured angle-based system up onto a globe around your position in hell. That's what you need, that conversion. But the angles still function from the equatorial or extended celestial planes. That's how they function. So if you're going to infer after creating the globe that this has some semblance of use, you have to take it as being only applicable at vernal equinox to negate tilt and have a plane match with the two different systems, sun and stars. So it's very limited in terms of its capability of actually matching. But even then, you're still inside the globe that you've projected out through Haversine conversion around you. It's that projection that then gets turned into Mercator projection. If you then project those points that you've converted out again onto a cylinder, so you wrap a cylinder around that globe that you're in hell measuring angles through the globe onto the cylinder, that's what you can then cut down the middle and create a Mercator projection with. It's nuts, the level of deceit to hide what's going on.
Meanwhile, it measures flat.
Yeah, absolutely. Do you actually have a video to cover today? I've not watched it. I'm cold to it, but since your goats watched it, and it's by a guy called Ben Farr. I'm unfamiliar with this guy, nevertheless. 140 odd thousand subscribers, so popular guy. Please let him know at Nathan Oakley 1980 sent me with a polite comment that will not flag the YouTube censors automatically, or indeed the videographer's inclination to remove a comment that's rude. So leave him a polite comment if you are watching this now. There's 85 people watching. Please share this show as well if you haven't done so already. But yeah, do drop him a comment. I've put the link to this video, which is called Why Millions of People Think Earth is Flat, in the live stream chat. So if you're watching it live on Nathan Oakley 1980 right now, please let Ben Farr know at Nathan Oakley 1980 send me with a polite comment that he won't remove instantly. Just allude to the fact that we're covering his video, pass on some YouTube love, give him some help in the YouTube algorithm by leaving a comment. Every YouTube videographer loves that. So he'll be grateful that you're interacting, watching / leaving a comment. Please do so if you're in the live stream chat. I'm repeating it a few times to buy you enough time to actually go and do it if you were so inclined, but thought you'd do it later. Do it now. I'll still be here doing my call to action when you return. It'll only take you a few seconds. I'll wait till it scrolls its way up the screen to know that enough time's elapsed. In any event, hopefully a few of you will actually toddle along and do this. The idea being that were he to respond to this video, so he's obviously going to be made aware by you, the audience, that we're doing this, and were he to say, I can counter these points that Nathan Oakley and the Flat Earth debate team put to me in response to my video, hopefully he'd do the same for me and put a link to this video or whatever Nathan Oakley 1980 video in his video, sending some YouTube algorithmic love our way. Pay it forward and all that stuff. So hopefully a few of you have actually been along and done that by now. And indeed shared the show if you haven't done so already. Share this show, smash that share button. Okay, I think that's enough procrastination in that regard. Should we crack on and actually should really sound check him first? Now let's do that.
Assumed that everyone knew that the Earth was round. Because we've sent people to space, we've seen photo evidence, and there's so much science to back it up. But
wrong on all three. Okay, well, we can deal with those as we progress through this relatively lengthy video.
I was wrong. In America, flat Earth theory has been growing fast since 2014.
Not a theory.
To the point that now, 1 in 3 young people are questioning if our planet is even round.
Who cares? Questioning it, irrelevant. Appeal to consensus, who cares? Earth's measured flat. Doesn't matter how many people know. If I'm the only one that knew, I could still point it out without any concern about how many individuals were already aware or questioning the validity of their heliocentric religion. Doesn't matter.
What? That's insane to me. How did we get here? When I heard this stat, it quickly led me down a rabbit hole, trying to figure out how millions of people could throw thousands of years of science out the
Sorry, thousands of years of science. You're in a category error. Science establishes the cause of natural phenomena. If and then relationships based on things happening in nature. You observe something occurring and go, I wonder what caused that. I know, I'll formulate what's called a scientific prediction, otherwise known as a hypothesis, where you suppose the cause of the phenomena you observed. You can also describe those two things, that's your supposed cause and the effect you observed, as an independent and dependent variable. The dependent variable is the observed phenomena, The independent variable is your supposed cause, yet to be varied. When you put those two things together, that's a scientific prediction, otherwise known as a hypothesis. Actualization of hypothesis is to vary your presumed cause and see if it induces the effect. If it does not, you validate, that is to say, prove your null, zero difference result prediction. If you vary and it causes the effect, you have proven the cause of the effect. That's called an experiment. And in so doing, actualization of hypothesis, after observing phenomena, you fulfill something called the scientific method. That is natural science. That is physics, the study of the physical and natural world, otherwise known as cause and effect reasoning, contained within the scientific method. Furthermore, if you do not adhere to that method, there is a definition for that if you call it science. The definition of that which has not adhered to the scientific method and is labelled incorrectly as science is correctly identified as pseudoscience, a claim of science that has not adhered to the scientific method. Now, this gets worse for Ben, because this is a category error. You don't assess shapes with science. There's nothing happening with a shape. Science is exclusively interested in the cause of phenomena. That's natural science, otherwise known as physics. Doesn't know what that is, so he thinks that there's thousands of years of science proving shape. You're in a category area, you don't know what science is. It's sad.
The window. And now, after looking into it, I'm starting to worry that conspiracies are spreading out of control. But it's not too late. Okay.
What we believe, well, this is definitely not going to be referring to us by a stereotyping fallacy in the title alone. They, what stereotyped as all of us, and what we believe, we don't hold beliefs here. Here on Flat Earth Debate, Ben, we know Earth's measured flat, and we can demonstrate that fact to you. Furthermore, your religious belief in a sphere comes from those measurements. That's what we know. There's no belief required.
I want to explore this theory as in-depth as I can.
Theory comes after the description I just gave for the scientific method. Physics. After you have validated the cause of a phenomena, you can form a theory. He's using it in the wrong context because he doesn't know what science is. He's using it to grease the skids of his just so story based on a religious faith he was taught in school. This is not theory.
Because I've seen a lot of people jumping to dismiss this conspiracy. But I think it's also important to hear everyone out, no matter what they believe in.
Really? We don't. We dismiss them immediately as soon as we establish that they're exercising their right to air their beliefs to us. No, we cut that crap down immediately. I'm not interested in what you believe, son. I really couldn't care less. We're interested in what you can demonstrate, what you can prove. That's what we're interested in. In the case of Earth and its measurements, Earth is flat. That's how we measure it, utilise it, navigate on it, build on it, fly over it. That's what we do with Earth. We utilise it flat. And we can demonstrate that by way of measurement.
While sticking to the science. So that's what I'm going to do in this.
No, you're definitely not going to be doing that because you don't know what science is. You've already demonstrated that. You've misused the word twice. Claimed there's thousands of years by baseless assertion without actual practical examples of how a category error about shape has been done for science with thousands of years to prove it. Definitely not. You're not going to be showing that. You don't know what you're talking about.
What these people believe. I thought it would.
These people believe is a stereotyping fallacy. There's no beliefs here. That's why stereotypes are fallacies. You're immediately wrong. I am a flat earther. My name is Nathan Oakley. You won't be talking about anything to do with what we discuss here because we're not discussing beliefs. Stereotyping fallacy.
It would be easy to find this online, but oh boy, was I wrong. The first
So you think Earth measurements are going to be acquired on the internet? Wouldn't they be on the ground that you're standing on? Wouldn't they be in reference to the Earth that we inhabit? Wouldn't that be where you'd find the measurements? Oh no, you think you need to look online? What a clown. That's not how you're going to find out about Earth, mate.
lead I had was a flat earther conference that happened in...
The conferences won't show you how Earth's measured flat, either. Think these numpties sat in crowds waiting for idiots to tell them about ether is going to prove Earth's flat? No, none of these numpties get that information at these conferences. I'm not there.
Denver in 2018. I decided
Yeah, I wasn't there, so none of them found out Earth's measured flat. They found out about ether and how the globe is fake. That's what these conferences are about. They're not flat Earth conferences. They're anti-globe conferences.
to get straight to the source, so I found their website in an image and then looked for the experts who were speaking at the event.
We're the experts. We are the cutting edge of flat Earth information in terms of how Earth is measured and how your globe religion came to pass. That's us. If you're not talking to us, you're not talking to the experts. We are unique in the fact we know Earth's flat. Very few around us know it's flat. Many will disseminate their beliefs, which is what you are investigating. You are investigating flat Earth belief. Something we despise here.
Spent way too long going through these videos and going down this rabbit hole, but I think I finally got the full picture.
I doubt it, mate. Earth's measured flat. You'll get that from us, not from these believers.
And the thing that the Globers do not seem to understand, if they will go up high.
Notice we were immediately talking about what Globers understand by Bob Nodell, rest in peace. What Globers understand is irrelevant. Earth is measured flat. But we're immediately into discussing our opponents, if I'm to be stereotyped with this crowd. No. Definitely not. Earth's measured flat. That's how your globe belief comes to pass.
Higher and higher and higher. You know, if there was a horizon, it would have to be below you.
This shows us, if anything, that trickery is afoot.
All right,
Not really. You're looking at flat Earth believers.
let me paint you a picture of an Earth. Unlike
Why? Let's just present some measurements based on your belief. Let's see those.
anything you've seen before.
What's this? This looks like a pizza pie in a sky vacuum. See this area here? This immediately is a violation of natural law. We're breathing high pressure gas. Any gas breathed by any person on here would immediately dissipate into this 10 to the minus 17 torr sky vacuum taken from your heliocentric, orbital motion-based sky vacuum religion. So this isn't mine. This is just your stereotype strawman fallacy. Strawman. I don't claim this.
Imagine the globe that you might already know, flattened.
No, if I imagine the globe, I immediately take myself instinctually to the measurements that created it. Flat Earth elevation angle measurements to the stars. Used by Copernicus and Kepler to create your globe that you believe in. So I can't really imagine something that's come from flat Earth measurements because it's just a mathematical calculation for where stars will appear. Out-of-the-box thinking would take you to reification of that globe in those maths. But we're not on a globe. The measurements that created it are flat. So I can't really imagine that very easily. Easy for you to imagine because you believe you're on one. You're not.
Down into a pancake. This
Why? We're not on a pancake.
pancake is still, not moving, not floating, and not orbiting around the sun.
Orbiting, that's a derivation of flat Earth measurements in the first instance. Orbital motion, like Keplerian orbital motion. Yeah, you're going to need flat Earth elevation angle measurements to the stars to create that mathematical inclination of the star's positioning with respect to a ball Earth in those maths that came from flat Earth angles. So no, definitely not orbits. You'll need a flat Earth for those orbits, like Kepler needed them.
What we know of Earth is fake, a lie spread by the government and NASA and the world.
No, what we know is that there's a law of nature violation if you claim this is a sphere Earth in a sky vacuum. This is high pressure gas that we're breathing. This is you. And this is a 10 to the minus 17 torr black area known as outer space. In line with entropic law, gas fills space. High pressure gas expands in all directions to fill whatever volume it has available to it. It's a law of nature. The second law of thermodynamics. If I am to believe, as you believe, that Earth is a sphere in a sky vacuum, where men travel to the moon and Mars, then the gas we breathe would fill the space, in line with entropic law. You believe in a second law of thermodynamics violation sky vacuum with gas not filling it. It's not the case. We must be under containment to have pressure.
In the middle of the Earth is the North Pole.
No, that's based on a mapping system that created the globe. So if you take a Polaris-centric system initially and create a globe inside an extended equatorial plane, then you can infer this Polaris-based system that's come to pass with angle measurements of a star off a flat plane. Why would we have Polaris in the middle? Oh, that's because it's used for latitude. How do we get latitude? We measure angles off a flat plane to it. So now I'm definitely not going to be imagining any globes with this, but you taking that globe and projecting it out onto an azimuthal equidistant projection means that this is a pizza pie in a sky vacuum with orbital motion from Kepler. It's all based on flat Earth measurements, mate. You're barking up the wrong tree. You're far too far down this rabbit hole to see the trees when you're in the wood, aren't you? All of this is derived from flat Earth measurements, mate. You should know the origins of all this crap. You're clawing your way through a rabbit hole that's been dug for you. All you needed to look at was the measurements that created any of this crap. But of course, you're on the internet and looking at conferences, aren't you?
And Antarctica is on the edges. But Antarctica...
No. When you take a north and south centric system that's projected with the extended equatorial plane, north and south antipodal, flat in both regards, and then suggest that if you project that with a system that's called an azimuthal equidistant projection, that would put what is claimed to be an island on the bottom of your sphere that has been created with those flat Earth measurements in the first instance, to a point where one block of land cannot physically exist in the same place you're projecting from. That's North Pole centric, in the case of the North Pole centric azimuthal equidistant globe projection. It forces that ice body to the outside edge because it is directly antipodal and the source of the South Pole centric system. Now, just because an azimuthal equidistant projection that is North Pole centric forces Antarctica to be an outside edge perimeter in that globe projection doesn't mean that we have an ice wall. This is some stupid notion that idiot flat earthers have fell down a rabbit hole, as you put it, to start explaining why we have this azimuthal equidistant globe projected ice wall. We don't. No one's shown it. No one's proven it. It's utterly nonsensical. But to create this projection, you first needed a globe to project in an azimuthal equidistant projection, and that globe was created with latitude lines and longitude lines and the north and south pole centric systems that were measured with angles with respect to the stars that we navigate with. That system, that if you believe you're on a globe, does not function. It must function in a globe with an equatorial plane, extended at vernal equinox so it can function usefully for the predictions that work on that flat, extended celestial plane that is used to gather, acquire, and utilize the flat Earth angle measurements to the stars, where all of this begins. All of it. None of your straw man exists if we don't have those flat Earth elevation angles. That's the origin, that's the genesis of this garbage rabbit hole that you've fallen down, Ben. Please let Ben know at Nathan Oakley 1980 sent me with a nice comment that alludes to the fact that he is in a religious belief of a ball based on flat Earth measurements, that any realist who actually looked at Earth itself and how we utilise it would realise it if he haven't spent his time in a rabbit hole of flat Earth conferences looking at flat Earth believers. Earth's measured flat, Ben. Please let him know. There's a link to his channel in this video that we're covering right now in the info box. No, not the info box. In the live stream chat. So if you are one of my live stream chat participants, please go and let him know. At Nathan Oakley 1980 sent me. Don't be rude. Don't swear. You'll just get your comment removed. Hopefully Ben will do the same when he responds to me by saying, "Nah, we got this globe religion by measuring a globe." Yeah, chance would be a fine thing. You get the globe from measuring Earth flat, like I just explained in detail. Ben didn't do the research. Hopefully a few of you will toddle along and let him know at Nathan Oakley 1980 sent me. There is 103 people currently watching, so thank you very much to all of you who smashed the share button here in this current live stream. Hopefully we can get that up to 150. Please share the show if you've just got here. a very warm welcome. You're only here because a few of my live stream members have smashed the share button already. But if you are one of those new participants, please let Ben know at Nathan Oakley 1980 sent me with a polite comment, and indeed smash the share button. Hopefully we can get a few more people watching along. Think that's brought enough time for a few people to actually toddle along to Ben and let him know I sent them? I'm sure it is.
More than.
One more time, Liam.
More than enough. Let's go.
Are you keen? No, you got to give the call to action time. I remember people doing it. It was actually Infinite Plane Society. He'd do the same thing, same exact style of call to action. And he'd waffle on with the same call to action for ages. And point out that, look, if you're still here listening to me doing this call to action, it's going to get boring because I'm going to do it two, 3 more times. You might as well, when I start the call to action, actually go to his video, let him know at Nathan Oakley 1980 sent me. And then when you come back and hear the last call to action, and I then get into the video, you'll be like, yeah, it was better actually going to his video, leaving a comment, saying Nathan Oakley 1980 sent me and responded to your nonsensical globe earth religion that you pretended to have after taking flat earth measurements you didn't know we use, or something like that, and then we get into the video. That's better time spent than listening to me do it 3 times or 4 times or 5, as the case may be.
Antarctica isn't what you've been taught. It's actually a 200-foot tall ice wall surrounding the Earth to prevent you from falling off.
Surrounding the Earth. Let's see if he shows, what would it be, 80-odd thousand miles of ice wall now, or if we just get to see maybe a couple of miles at best. Let's see if he backs that. His claim now, because I certainly don't make it. I'm not going to buy a stereotyping fallacy, and the 108 people watching definitely won't buy a stereotyping fallacy. Share.
Off the edges. Around this edge is a significant military presence, potentially funded by NASA.
So what is this conspiratide garbage? Is this what you believed, Numpty? Sorry, you didn't show anywhere near 80-odd thousand miles of perimeter going around the whole of the world. You showed a couple of boats and a little bit of an ice wall. Yeah, we're well aware that there's a ridge at Antarctica. So what?
Keeping you from knowing the truth.
Nothing's keeping anybody from knowing the truth. Earth is dealt with on a daily basis by these boats. What do you think their GPS is utilising? It's using a Mercator projection. It's flat. That's how it's utilised. How do you think the Mercator projection was produced? Oh, well, it's a globe projection. Yeah, based on a latitude and longitude grid that's wrapped around the globe, that's measured with flat Earth elevation angles to Polaris. You described it as North Pole centric on an azimuthal equidistant globe projection. Yeah, we use a lot of globe projections, Mercator being one of them, azimuthal equidistant being another. But these projections are reliant on angle measurements to the stars to create the globe, to then project them back out flat to make them useful.
Above the ice wall is a dome that's designed to encase the entire planet.
Now, we definitely have containment. I don't know about what you would call a dome, but containment of some description is absolutely required for us to be breathing gas pressure. And we do breathe high-pressure gas. So you can't have a 10 to the minus 17 torr sky vacuum as the sky. We'd all be dead. We'd have no gas to breathe. There'd be nothing for it to press on.
Think of this like the Truman Show, where we're all held in a glass case.
Now imagine that there's a pump producing a 10 to the minus 17 torr vacuum just beyond the dome that Truman's in. So he's inside the dome, like in Truman Show, with all this fog and water vapor and gases floating around everywhere, but it's all contained by the dome in the Truman Show. Okay, but then outside the dome, that's 15-foot thick walls, of course, to, you know, contain the sky vacuum that we're going to create. We're going to create an enormous vacuum, like more powerful than any vacuum created ever. And then what we're going to do is snap our fingers and remove all the walls and see how quickly Truman dies of asphyxiation as the gas he was breathing vacates into that vacuum instantly. Yeah, let's see how quickly he dies when the gas fills the space in line with entropic law, because that's what would happen. Meanwhile, your version of your reality doesn't even have a container to begin with. We'd have never developed gas pressure, because the first particle of gas would come out of the ground and go into the sky vacuum to never be seen again, because it would never bounce off a container and come back again. It would just go into the sky vacuum and never come back. And so with the second gas particle and the third, all of them would just sod off into the sky vacuum, and we'd never develop pressure if the sky was a vacuum. But in your religious worldview, yeah, we've got pressure, not filling sky vacuums, violating laws of nature, but you just go past them and travel to Mars or the moon. We wave goodbye at the Kármán lines of the high-pressure gas as it burns its bra in defiance of natural law and goes down, go boom, boom, because it's got a religious belief in gravity. Completely violating gas behaviour, completely defying the second law of thermodynamics, completely defying entropic dispersion. Because obviously the sky's a vacuum, because just look at the sky. It's a vacuum, innit? Violates natural law, because it just does. It'd have to, because we go to the moon and that, don't we? So yeah, of course it's a vacuum. It's just gas doesn't fill it. If you can't detect my sarcasm, the sky is not a vacuum. We'd all be dead if there was trips to the moon and Mars. We must be under containment. Bit like the Truman Show.
Like a snow globe. This dome keeps the air in, allowing...
Keeps the air in, sorry. We've got a picture of your religious belief in a globe Earth with no containment, though, haven't we? I mean, this layer could be presumed to be the clouds and water vapour and all the gases that we're breathing. Yum, yum, yum. Yummy, yummy, high-pressure gas that we all rely on. Would this area be like my example, if we pretend that this is like a dome, like in the Truman Show? So this is protecting all the high-pressure gas that we like breathing, this dome, from the 10 to the minus 17 torr high vacuum that the clouds are just next to in the globe world of nonsensical sky vacuums? No, definitely not. All these clouds would just sod off into the sky vacuum. We'd never develop pressure in your stupid world without containment. You know, you haven't got rockets going, woo, bye-bye high-pressure gas, see you later, I'm off to the moon. Through the sky vacuum, we've got our spacesuits. Don't worry, your precious little heads will be looking back and taking pictures of Earth with our spacesuits keeping all our gas inside as we take pictures of clouds next to a vacuum. It's all nonsense. You've got a religious belief, Ben. It's just you weren't aware of what the second law of thermodynamics. Were you dumb? Until we educated you in entropic law, gas filling space? Do we need to dumb this down for Ben? Is he a bit stupid? Yeah? Because in his mind, we've got a container around a globe Earth, keeping all the high-pressure gas in. Because if it weren't there, we'd all be dead.
allowing us to live, and it also holds the stars, the sun, and the moon.
I don't know why he's making this garbage up. We don't claim any of this. Anybody claim any of this? This straw man, this stereotype fallacy? Anyone want to lay claim to this? 'Cause I don't.
Negative.
Not me.
No way. Nope.
Got a whole panel, 2 panels full of flat earthers. Nobody's laying claim to this, Ben. Why would you straw man us? Like, this is not uncommon. Yeah, some numpty that doesn't have a clue about the subject or lacks an appreciation of how Earth's actually measured and functional would tell us that we're idiots because we think that there's a dome that keeps the high pressure gas in. Yeah, there's definitely a container. Yeah, the sky's definitely not a vacuum like you believe.
On the topic of the sun and the moon, let's look at closer. Flat earthers have taken photos that show the sun setting in front of the clouds. If the
Yeah, I have done that to take the piss out of idiot flat earthers.
sun was outside our planet, how would the clouds end up behind it? Instead,
Yeah, they wouldn't. It's just a camera effect. It's stupid. I got the sun to be in front of a tree that's 200 yards away from me. Clouds? Pah! I got it in front of a tree. It wasn't really in front of a tree. You're an idiot.
the sun and the moon are inside the dome, circling the North Pole, with the sun acting like a spotlight, heating the areas it shines on. And this alone proves why the moon is visible to us during the day. Okay, this is sounding pretty good, but this theory is harder to pin down than I thought it would be, because it turns out there isn't just one flat Earth theory. There are a few collective groups.
No, a few collective groups, perhaps, but theory, you don't know what the word means. You keep misappropriating this word to what lends some false valor that the stereotype of a flat earther is stolen. No, I'm not going to ascribe that kind of sense and logic to you. You just don't know what the word means. It's not theory. Theory is based on the actualization of a hypothesis, otherwise known as an experiment. If you validate your presumed cause, you can then form theory. This is not that.
Like the Flat Earth Society and the Flat Earth International Conference, but there are also thousands of independents, each with their own opinions and theories about the Earth. Flat Earth is complicated, and
No, not really. We measure Earth flat, we build on Earth flat, we navigate flat, we chart the world flat, we fly over the world flat. Everything we do with that regard references any measurements of Earth are flat. It's that simple. Altitude, flat. Sea level, flat. It's all flat. That's how we deal with Earth. That's not complicated. It's really simple. No belief is required.
and it's always changing. Thankfully though, this means they've done their due diligence. They've done experiments to prove to us that the Earth...
Oh, you smug bastard. Experiments? What, for a shape in a category error? Oh, I can do that too. Yeah. Yeah, who was it? Was it you, Liam, that was saying he was smug?
Absolutely.
Oh, Ben. You don't know what an experiment is, do you, clown? You haven't done your due diligence and figured out what science is. How disappointing. Yeah, I can do that too, Ben. You utter clown.
is flat. Okay, so first I present to you this image of Chicago's skyline from across Lake Michigan. According to flat earthers, this photo wouldn't be possible if the Earth was round.
Yeah, notice how flat earthers are talking about what a globe Earth can't do. Yeah, these are pretender clowns. They're not flat earthers. Who cares what they say a globe Earth can't do? Earth's measured flat. The mathematical inference that this has got something to do with Earth curve will require a horizontal plane of reference to derive this Earth curve geometry, existent only because we have a flat Earth to measure in the first place. Well, that flat Earth used to create an inference of a sphere Earth edge that is what? Not possible on a globe Earth, according to what, flat earthers? Yeah, this is kind of convoluted, isn't it? I'm a flat earther. Earth's measured flat. That's it. That's not complicated. This pretender clowning from believers in a flat Earth telling you what a globe Earth can't do. No. The globe Earth that they say can't do something came from flat Earth measurements also. Let's cut to the chase. Let's cut to the genesis of what we actually do with Earth when we measure it. Not what comes after the measurements of a flat Earth, turned into a globe, utilised with flat Earth elevations off a surface level to infer sphericity based on an Earth curve edge below surface level, for flat earthers to say, based on that sphericity that doesn't exist derived from flat Earth measurements, we've got an image that doesn't match it. This is a definite rabbit hole that we do not claw out of. Earth is simply measured flat. Not only measured flat for us to say, here's how we utilise, build on, navigate, map, chart Earth, but also here's how your globe Earth that apparently flat earthers say doesn't work, was also measured with the same exact elevation angles to the stars off a flat plane. It's the same. You need that for a globe also. So telling me what a globe Earth doesn't do when you take pictures of things and compare it to globe Earth maths that are derived from flat Earth angles, you're missing the wood for the trees. The genesis of all these claims are flat Earth measurements in the first instance.
Because the skyline is 60 miles away, and the curvature of the Earth...
60 miles is a linear distance on a flat plane. That's why you've got this charted out in Google Earth flat. That distance is a flat distance. Miles are flat. Linear, not curving. So why are you talking about linear, flat, straight distances on straight, flat maps and then inferring some sort of sphericity? No, you got linear distances on flat maps, idiot. Why are you presenting this on screen? There's no curve to this, you clown.
Earth would make it impossible to see the skyline.
Sorry, see the skyline? You've got a straight line distance represented on a map that's useful for your example. It's flat. Linear distance, miles. Hello? These aren't curve miles. This isn't a curved map.
But that's not all.
Well, not all. You've just shown flat references to flat distances on flat maps. But that's not all. Where was your fundy sphere belief in those measurements and utilisation of a flat plane? With Google Earth referencing flat elevation profiles with respect to a flat reference sea level. It's all flat, mate. Pack it up. Earth's flat. Welcome to flat Earth. You just exampled it.
Vlog, this guy. Daryl took a flight from North Carolina to...
All right, this was back in the day, what, 8 years ago? Pitch data, mate. Don't need to reference Daryl on a plane with a spirit level when we've got pitch data. Also with respect to a horizontal plane of reference, sea level. Planes fly nose up with respect to horizontal. We can demonstrate it physically with the measurements. Pitch data from the NTSB. Those are measurements of a flat Earth. I couldn't give a crap what Daryl Marble did 8 years ago. Earth's measured flat. Flights are flat. They're negotiating a horizontal plane, and we can prove it with measurements.
To Seattle. On this flight, he brought a level because...
Really? 8 years ago, he's got a spirit level. In 2024, we got pitch data, mate. That's what we'd slap on the desk to you now, but you need to go back 8 years to Daryl Marble on a flight with a level. How fascinating. It is actually genuinely useful, as much as you're trying to demean it. He demonstrated with a spirit level what we have in measurements from the NTSB. He proved it with a spirit level in practical application. At least he's out there. Is he on the internet looking at forums? No, he went out and did something, didn't he? Flew over the ground and showed how he had a reference to horizontal the entire way. It didn't nose down. That is genuinely useful, as much as you're mocking it. But meanwhile, we've got much more hard and fast evidence that's life and death. That is to say, in the event of accidents involving aircraft, the NTSB used data that references a flat Earth and shows unequivocally that we measure the flight with respect to nose up over a horizontal plane. We can demonstrate that. Pitch data. That's what we can give you. Trump that. Earth's measured flat.
If the Earth was round, the pilots would have to...
It's a begging the question fallacy. That's the thing that you would need to prove based on your religious belief in Earth being round. Assuming it in the first instance won't negotiate the fact that it's level stays level, and we can prove why that is with pitch data.
Compensate for the curvature by dipping the nose of the plane.
No. Dipping the nose of the plane is something that does not happen. We can prove it with pitch data.
Down very slowly, but...
No, you don't pitch the nose down. NTSB pitch data can prove that with measurements.
On his flight, the level stayed level.
Yeah, we can prove that with pitch data.
The Earth is flat. No. I did my best. I can't do this. This is all
Sorry, what do you mean you can't do this?
so archaic and wrong and...
Sorry, that's a hand wave dismissal and ad hominem fallacy. Archaic. Sorry, he showed it was level for the entirety of the flight. Therefore, the nose didn't pitch down. As I said, it is actually useful. And your response to it is, no, I can't deal with this. It's archaic.
Ugh, it's driving me crazy. Even if this theory of the level was correct, the
Theory of the level. He's demonstrating it in physical reality, you utter clown. Theory of the level? Yeah, this is another demonstration of how stupid you are when it comes to science, Ben. There's no theory of the level. This is not a naturally observed phenomena formulated into an hypothesis to then be actualized with experimentation to then turn into a theory. It's just a spirit level on a plane, dum-dum.
curve would be so minimal that it would hardly make an impact.
Really? It's not minimal, it's non-existent, and we can show that with pitch data. So you're saying there is a pitch down and it's just minimal and we wouldn't notice? No, the level would orientate itself differently if we were nosing down. That's the point of his demonstration. Kudos Daryl Marble in this regard. But we can verify that with pitch data. It does not nose down. In fact, for lift, they nose up with respect to horizontal, as we can prove with pitch data. So what are you going to do with that, Ben? Tell us it's archaic? I don't think you would get away with calling the NTSB's life and death assessment of the pitch of the plane archaic. I'd think you'd accept it as the flat Earth measurement it absolutely is, backed up with physical demonstrations from Daryl Marble. Bravo, Daryl. Thank you very much. Adam did the same thing with accelerometers on the plane. Basically the exact same principle. Useful when you've got measurements that demonstrate why that would be the case. That is to say, you don't reorientate the plane because there's no drop. Earth's not curving away from you. You are absolutely referencing and negotiating and measuring a flat Earth as you fly over a flat Earth. Not archaic, it's a fact of life. Earth is flat.
In these photos, they literally prove that the Earth is round.
No, the mathematics that you would infer sphericity for a geometric obstruction below surface level at altitude requires you have height above sea level and an eye line that's parallel with it to infer sphericity at 1.2 times the square root of the observer's height in feet. That's Earth curve mathematics. I explained earlier. That's also reliant on having a surface level.
Otherwise, you'd be able to see the whole buildings. Not
Really? You never heard of perspective? Hashtag shit shrinks, Ben.
just the tops. But it gets worse, because
Really? No, you need to look into perspective if you want to know why things get smaller into the distance and disappear bottom up. It's through angular limitations. Not that I need to be explaining this to you. It has no bearing on my subject. Earth's measured flat. We utilise the horizon for angle measurements, navigation, or in this case, for the plane. It's their last resort if they haven't got a gyro. They look out at the horizon to establish their horizontal plane of reference. Very useful. That's practically applied flat Earth. Do you think I need to explain why perspective makes things disappear in the distance? Because you've got an orthographic belief based on flat Earth utilising Earth curve maths? Oh, mate, you need to look into the genesis of your religion. It's just sad. I know more about your bleeding religion than you do.
they've even proved themselves wrong with some of these experiments. Let me show
Experiments? There we go again with this dumbass proving how he doesn't understand how science works. You're not doing experiments. You think seeing things get smaller into the distance is a naturally occurring phenomena? Even if it was, you're not formulating a hypothesis with a cause and effect supposition of variable independent cause, influencer of the phenomena you observed, validated by experiment. But you're still calling it an experiment? An experiment's a hypothesis test. What a clown. What a smug clown. Smugly telling us how we don't know what's what by stereotyping fallacy, only to demonstrate his abject stupidity when it comes to science and the scientific method. Experiment? Yeah, you haven't got a clue what the word means, son.
in a board and held it up 17 feet from sea level, and then had his
Oh, did you believe this clown, Jaron, who said the word experiment when he shined a light through holes? How is this practically applied? Can you find your position at sea navigating by use of the horizon with this? No? Can we create a map to find our way around the world, maybe expand the territories with this? No? Oh, so this doesn't really have any useful reference to a flat plane, but yet Jaron called it an experiment? Yeah, that's because he's as dumb as you. He doesn't know what an experiment, that's a hypothesis actualization, is either. But this clown show, firing lights at cardboard, is an experiment because Jaron said so. It seems like you fell for the Dunning-Kruger crap that Jaron had to offer when he incorrectly labelled this as an experiment. But now you believe that, did you? Now, Jaron doesn't know his arse from his elbow when it comes to science. Believe me, I've spoken to him.
his friend drive far away, shining a powerful light towards the hole.
So where does this have a practical application? Clown, cardboard, cardboard. Where's this practically applied for anything useful? Will he use this for something? No, it's not an experiment. What's the naturally occurring phenomena here? Oh, this is very much a synthetic effect created by a clown who also doesn't know what an experiment is. That'd be Jaron. Now, these synthetic phenomena aren't experiments. We know what caused this. Jaron caused it. This clown shoes charade of an experiment. Definitely not. We know the cause of this fiasco, don't we? Yeah, Jaron caused this nonsense.
If he held his light at 17 feet, theoretically it should come through the hole.
All right, 17 feet. Would that be an altitude from sea level? Yeah, I'm pretty sure if you're going to measure out these positions and describe them in feet, you're going to need a reference plane to describe them from. Like all altitudes, we describe their height with respect to sea level. Yeah, that's because you need elevation off a flat plane. You need a horizontal plane to reference to give you height. So before Jaren did his... Let's just demean this idiot Jaren for what he actually had. When he did his parlour trick pseudoscience, he needed to measure how high off a flat plane the boards were then. Well, he proved the flat earth as soon as he started measuring heights, didn't he? Because he utilised a horizontal plane of reference to get them. You need a flat earth for heights. There is no up and down in feet or meters off a curved globe earth. There's only in and out. There is no horizontal plane of reference to get heights above sea level from. You need a flat earth for that. Now, if Jaren had half a brain, he'd realise that before he did anything, that's a parlour trick pseudoscience, the anything is parlour trick, he'd need a flat earth to measure the heights with. But Jaren's too dumb to realise he's another idiot that can't see the wood for the trees. Oh, well, I know how high the boards were off a flat earth. Let's start proving how flat earth is. Dumb. You need a flat earth to measure heights. Altitudes are with respect to sea level. That's sea level. A flat earth plane of reference. Earth's measured flat. It was done before Jaren basically just made a load of flat earth believers look like idiots that don't know what science is. Now you, Ben, also don't know what science is, so you got Jedi mind tricked by Jaren the Clown too, didn't you? Because you're alluding to this being an experiment too. What, just a failed experiment? Like, experiments can never fail. As I detailed right at the beginning of this, you validate a null if your independent variable fails to induce the effect. You put a tick next to your null hypothesis, if A, not B. Oh yeah, that was the result. Tick, proven. That's what science does. It's empirical. No matter what the outcome, if your independent variable fails to induce the effect, you prove your zero difference prediction. No matter what you do, you're proving something. That's not what Jaren's doing. There's no empiricism. It's not even validatable through science, because we already know the cause. It's a man inducing a synthetic effect.
Or because the Earth is flat. And
It is. We got the heights off that flat plane, sea level.
I'll just play the clip for you.
Enrique, how high is your light?
Off a flat earth, Jaren. Dum-dum. How high is it off sea level?
17 feet.
Off sea level.
You know, it's as we don't see you, Enrique. Lift up your light way above your head. Interesting.
I can disprove flat Earth all I want, but
No, you can't. What were you disproving by showing Jaren seeing a light? Who gives a crap? That didn't disprove anything.
that's just not why we're here. So
No, you won't ever be disproving it. You'll never be here to disprove it. That's how it's measured.
let me share one more example in case you're still not convinced.
Convinced by what? Jaren held a light up and said the word interesting. Is that your proof that we're on a globe? Are you taking that to be, what, a practically applied flat earth measurement? Useful for something beyond Jaren's misappropriation of the words of science? Now I'm thinking, no, that was pretty useless.
Okay, so I live in the flight path of my local airport, right?
Oh, wonderful. Pitch data. Should go and get some pitch data from one of those flights. It'll show you how flat Earth is. There's a horizontal plane of reference being used to describe the pitch of the plane with respect to that horizontal reference that Earth is. You need a flat Earth for that pitch data, mate. You saw it on D. Marble's level. That was a practical example of the same thing. As we've got measurements now, it's a bit superfluous, but praise be to Daryl Marble, well done. And Adam, who did the same thing with accelerometers. Showed how the plane doesn't pitch down. You said it just pitches down a little bit and you wouldn't notice. No, you'd have to reorientate the plane and the level would have shown that. No, you definitely have it in the pitch data and we don't. We've got a flat Earth in the pitch data. So why are we now going back to how the flights work around you? Well, maybe we'll find out.
Anytime I see a plane flying overhead, my girlfriend and I have a game where we try and guess to see where it's going. So I have this app on my phone called Radar Box, and
Radar's flat. So you're scanning these planes with respect to a horizontal plane of reference for radar then. This map's flat.
and it lets me see the planes that are flying overhead. When I look in the app, though, there are some paths that have intense curvature flying over me.
Is this guy kidding? The map's flat, and the curves are going from left to right in a horizontal orientation. But he's saying that that's curve? Is he having a laugh? Ad break.
Flight from California to London. Look at the curve on that thing, and it's literally flying over Canada. If you
Right, so the curve with respect to the Mercator projection. Okay. Yeah, you've got a flat square grid system on the Mercator projection that forces the appearance of curve because the latitude and longitude grid is areas of equal elevation. They're circles. So in order to get the transverse Mercator, you take those elevation angles, create the globe with the projected angles I described earlier through the globe onto the celestial sphere. You can then take that globe projection created with flat Earth elevation angle measurements in a polarocentric system and project those points on the globe onto a tube. You then cut the tube down the middle and roll it out flat, and that is the map that we have before us. This is a Mercator projection. The curves that are induced in the paths that are plotted on a Mercator projection appear curved because it's a square grid representation of circles of equal elevation. Both the circles of equal elevation and the map itself are both flat. So what's he babbling about?
If you look at literally any flight, though, they all have curves because the Earth is a globe, and
This is pathetic. If you had the slightest idea how these maps work, you'd know how this is. Can someone dig out that guy on the freight ship where he's describing this with a Mercator projection in front of him? And he's like, yeah, the way we plot out our distance from A to B is the shortest distance, but on this map, it will appear to curve, even though it's still the shortest distance.
the fastest path is not a straight line like you'd expect.
No, it is. The shortest path is going to always be a straight line, you dumbass.
On a map like this.
On a map? That's a reification fallacy. We're not travelling on a map. We're travelling on the surface, with nose up with respect to horizontal, as shown in the pitch data. Meanwhile, on a distorted projection, something that's definitely going to be the shortest path, no sane flight operator is going to add distance by travelling an inefficient curved path. Nobody's going to do that. It just looks that way on a Mercator projection. What a clown. This is your evidence for Earth being curved. Look at the curved paths his plane take. Oh my God. This is pathetic. He's always the smug ones, right? It's called Dunning-Kruger. Yeah, he's done a little bit of research and thinks he can smugly tell his audience what's what. Wow.
This. The truth is, planes just wouldn't fly this far out of their way to prove that the Earth is flat. It's
They're not flying out of their way. Oh my God. What an idiot.
way too expensive to do something like that. So yeah, they're not covering anything else.
Well, it would be more expensive to fly in a curved trajectory with respect to a horizontal plane of reference as shown in the pitch data. Yeah, they don't. What an idiot. Learn how Mercator projections work, you idiot.
The Earth is round.
No, it isn't. It's not spherical, even though that's what you mean when you say round. Flat and round are not mutually exclusive. You can have a flat round penny.
I found myself in a weird spot at this point in my research, because I think I always assumed that we knew the Earth was round for a while, but
No, we've never known it was round. It's been inferred to be round based on the elevation angle measurements used by people like Huygens and Kepler, Copernicus. Yeah, those measurements of a flat Earth are what you use to create your globe inference that you now have a religious belief in.
I wanted to know where this theory even came from. Going back to ancient civilizations, they had a lot of theories about our world.
So here we are again, talking about theories. No, these aren't cause and effect reasoned, put through the scientific method to validate the cause and effect supposition and then form theory. You just don't know what science is.
Some of these civilizations thought that we were on a disk that was floating in the ocean. Others thought that we were on the top of a cylinder, and others thought that we were on a stack of flat disks. Because to be able to see the curve of the Earth, you need to climb
M Gallery Hotel Collection.
like you're in a plane. And they had no context to know.
Okay, who can see a problem with this picture? So let me get it straight, Ben. We are told that these men, we just see the guy's hand, I think, here. He's in a spacesuit, right? So the gas doesn't go into the black area. Obviously, he's got to be in a spacesuit, or all of the gas that he's breathing would fill the sky vacuum that's 10 to the minus 17 torr in these images, right? So this is a 10 to the minus 17 torr vacuum, and it is literally right next to high pressure gas. So the gas doesn't follow entropic law. It's not going to fall in line with the description of entropy in the second law of thermodynamics. The gas just doesn't fill this space. So he needs a spacesuit so his gas doesn't fill the space, but the clouds and the high pressure gas can just chill out next to a vacuum. No, Ben. No, you've been lied to. The sky is not a vacuum, Ben. This is all garbage. I mean, why would you ever think that men could look back from a place that can watch high pressure gas not filling the space when they'd need to be in spacesuits? Yeah, this contradiction obviously is beyond you, Ben. There is no sky vacuum. There are no men in space. It's all lies.
That the Earth isn't flat. So knowing that, I assumed that this was the common theory for most of history. But I was wrong. Back in 350 BCE, Aristotle was watching the stars. While watching them, he noticed that they spun around the sky in a circular pattern, which led him to believe that the Earth was actually a sphere.
Prove it. Where's your primary source for this? Prove it. You got the documents from 300 years before Christ? Prove it. There's a little story that you've got that you're telling us that you got when you were doing searches online rather than looking how Earth's measured. But this is a story that you will not back with primary sources.
100 years later, another philosopher proved this while he was watching the sun on the summer solstice by measuring the position of the sun above him and in
That would be an elevation angle with respect to a flat plane, wouldn't it?
another faraway city. He assumed that the Earth must be curved. And
No, he just measured it flat with an elevation angle, dum-dum. He's just taken an elevation angle. He requires a flat plane of reference to measure it. Let's have a look at this picture. See this? This would be what he measures. Yeah? He's measuring with respect to the sun, you said? Yeah, that's an elevation angle. You can't have a curved surface to form an elevation angle. It's not an angle if one of the lines is curved. Yeah, you obviously don't know what an elevation angle is. You didn't look into what he actually measured because you didn't say it. We know what he measured. He measured a flat Earth.
And using that data, he was able to calculate the circumference of the Earth.
So what, he used the flat Earth elevation angle measurements to extrapolate a circumference? Yeah, we know.
So case closed, right? The Earth is
Measured flat.
round, and we know.
No, he measured it flat. He calculated a circumference with flat Earth elevation angles to the sun.
That for the rest of history. But
So we've measured Earth flat so far.
no, says this one teenager from the UK in the 1830s. Modern science.
Let me get it right. We've gone from elevation angle measurements off a flat Earth, and now we've zipped forward 2,500 years, have we? Wow, that was a big jump.
Is wrong. There is no proof that the Earth is round, and this is all a big conspiracy. So, he writes a book that ends up becoming the foundation for flat Earth theory.
Not a theory. Oh, I'm sick of this. Right, I'm going to round out and ask the live participants, or thank the live participants for tuning in. Anybody want to add anything before I do so?
No, why? Why are we ending early? He's going to stereotype us all in a bit. It's very funny.
Is there a particular part you want me to buzz on to?
Yeah, he's wearing a cap.
Try Airwick Active
Okay,
Fresh
I
Auto.
think I found the part that you're talking about.
and oh boy is it a train wreck. He gets kicked out of his local church, his own family starts to disown him, and his boss tells him to look for another job. All that Mark has left is flat earth. This whole time he was right. No one did have good intentions to help him, but the flat earthers, they accept him. Man, I wish this story was made up, but Mark's...
That's not true. Not if you came here. What's that? You believe in Earth being flat? Prove it. You can't, then you're not a flat earther.
story is a combination of a lot of stories from people who believe in flat earth theory.
Yeah, people who don't know what science is because they're using the word theory incorrectly and don't know Earth is flat because they have a belief. Yeah, what a shame. There's a lot of numpties out there.
It's no wonder why most flat earthers just don't tell anyone about it.
Most flat earthers, another stereotyping fallacy. Was that the bit that you were talking about?
Aye.
It was?
Yeah.
Is there any more juicy bits or is that pretty much it?
The whole thing is, but if you've had enough, if he's annoyed you enough, I get it.
I don't know. I'm okay with it. I think we've got the general gist and pointed out how Earth's measured flat with elevation angles that he's referenced a couple of times. It's good enough for me. If he was watching, he'd know how Earth is measured flat for his globe belief at this stage. So I'm happy to put his link one more time into the live stream chat and say, please let Ben Farr know at Nathan Oakley 1980. Sent me with a polite comment. And yeah, hopefully he'll do the same for us, were he to respond and say, no, I've absolutely got globe measurements. It's not like I referenced elevation angle measurements to the sun or anything. Those globe angles, they're curve angles, of course. Maybe. But yeah, if he does do a response, hopefully he'll put a link to my video. Anything else from anybody else? No. With that, I'm going to say, first and foremost, if you are watching this on either Nathan Oakley 1980 or Nathan Oakley Premiering streams, then stay tuned, as there will be an after show to follow. Unfortunately, though, if you are watching this live, this is where we bid you farewell. So another massive thank you to all of you who smashed the super chat, liked, commented, shared, subscribed, joined as a Nathan Oakley 1980 channel member. There's several member-only videos, if you are a member, that you can check out. That came from Omi TV over the weekend. Another massive thank you to today's Discord and G+ panels. I've been Nathan Oakley, and I will see you all in the next video.